we are going to be talking about protein synthesis and protein mutations. So, to recap, remember that earlier in the year we talked about hemoglobin and cellular respiration. Remember that we used circular cushions to represent the hemoglobin and that they carried the oxygen or post it notes to the cells, which was a process of cellular respiration. Also, you can try to recall during our cellular respiration dance that if you didn't get enough oxygen to your cells via the hemoglobin, you'd be producing lactic acid. And we are going to be going into further protein mutations in this video and how they can relate to lactic acid. Now, proteins are formed by long chains of amino acids, also known as the building blocks of life. And remember that DNA makes up RNA, making up protein. And when DNA is mutated, it causes mutated RNA, causing mutated proteins, mutated cells, and mutated tissue, which is a type of system of order. And we're going to go further into protein mutations and their causes and effects.
Okay, so now we're going to be talking to you about what protein synthesis is. As the previous group covered, it is the most basic biological process. It is where cells build new proteins and where enzymes are unwinding DNA, and this makes the DNA attainable for the RNA to make a copy, and the process takes place in the nucleus, and then the RNA molecule will then travel to the cell cytoplasm.
While the word mutation is very broad and can occur in lots of different situations, we'll be talking about the error in a DNA sequence occurring when the DNA strand is being replicated. Mutations in DNA can be caused by natural or induced situations. Natural occurrences are when the DNA is being copied, and induced mutations occur when there are chemicals in the environment, too much radiation, tobacco, exposure to ultraviolet light, basically things in the environment.
Okay, so now we're going to be talking about missense and nonsense mutations. So a missense mutation is a mutation that changes the protein type, so the end game of the protein, and then a nonsense mutation is a mutation that causes a stop in the translation of the protein.
A couple other types of protein mutations are point mutations, and now that is a change in the base sequence. Recall that these are the nitrogen bases making up the DNA: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. And a substitution mutation is the replacement of one base. Say instead of being CG, it's GG. So the improper substitution. A deletion is when it removes one extra base. So instead of TA, it might just be T. And the insertion is an adding of a base, which might be TAT, so it has an extra one that should not be there.
Okay, so another type of mutation we have for you guys is a frame shift mutation. And a frame shift mutation is a genetic mutation caused by insertions or deletions of a number of nucleotides in the DNA sequence, and a nucleotide being the building blocks of the DNA.
So a sickle mutation is another type of protein mutation. It can cause episodes of pain, lack of red blood cells, infections, and it prevents cells from receiving oxygen. Recall that causes lactic acid from cellular respiration dance. And the sickle mutation, also known as sickle cell anemia, is when the hemoglobin, rather than being their normal round shape, making up the red blood cell, remember that hemoglobin are made up of proteins, they are in long strands. This causes them to be smaller and not enough space for it to carry the oxygen. So because it can't carry the full oxygen, it can't get it out to the cells, which causes lactic acid because the hemoglobin are too small.
Alright, so that's it for this mutation video. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask one of us. Thank you for watching.